When testing trading strategies and building them, one of the things that comes up is, well, which settings do I set my EMA to? Which ones are going to be best long-term in the future? Now, one of the best ways to decide that is to backtest it, right? We can pull up a strategy on our candlesticks and we could start, changing some of the variables. And there's a crucial problem with this. And one of those problems is that you could be curve fitting, or you could be only fitting it for historical data and too rigid, and it doesn't work in real time. So one of the best methods for overcoming this problem is to do Monte Carlo simulations or stress tests for your strategy. And I'm going to show you a really good website for facilitating that, and that is signalswap.io. Now, it's currently in development. It's password protected right now, but me and some developers are working on finishing it. So if you want to alpha test this and help us stress test and just work out the last few things before release, come to my Discord server and just tag me and ask for access, and I'll give you the password to the website. And the link to the Discord server is down in the description. I'll leave it down there. Well, you can connect your TradingView strategies or any webhook from anywhere and then plug it in to connect to your exchange. It currently supports Bybit, Apex, and Pinex, which I featured on the channel before. I really like Apex as well because they're decentralized. And of course, Bybit is one of the biggest exchanges out there. And what sets this website apart is that there is a backtesting area where you can plug in your strategies and it will rapidly test thousands of different parameters per second to find the best configuration for your strategy, and it'll also put it through robustness tests. Now, some of those are where the candlesticks are randomized, or when there's simulated volatility in the market or extra flat, choppy market that can draw down your bot. And you want to test in thousands of different scenarios because you don't know which one the future will hold. So you want your strategy to be as reliable over time as possible. So I'm just going to quickly show how this works. And so the website's pretty simple. If you want to alpha test this website and really help us out, you just comment in the Discord server. This is a pretty simple dashboard. There's a full trading interface and as well as full history for all of your trades. And it even shows the amount of milliseconds that your trade takes to execute. And then there's this backtest tab. So if you put it through a backtest, it'll actually show the results here, and then you can publish the bot to the marketplace. The trade tactics community is full of traders who are developing bots, and a lot of the time when a bot gets really good, somebody wants to maybe monetize it. I've seen a ton of really good scripts in the Discord server right now. This one catches my eye, and they're all open source right now. And so sometimes the strategy gets too good and then they want to monetize it. So instead of banning people from the Discord, the solution is just going to be just put it on the marketplace on SignalSwap. That's where you can put your strategies if you want to share revenue and take the vast majority of all of the revenue that the strategy generates. So when it comes to using the backtest panel, this is the area that is honestly the favorite feature that I have on the website. So when it comes to using the backtesting panel here, you can see the history here. These are a couple tests that I've been doing. You can see is if you plug in like a simple EMA strategy, it just fails. It says not robust. So it'll test all the possible parameters that you give it on the grid, and then it will run. And this runs faster than the TradingView optimizer. I've seen some plugins for TradingView where they'll test all the parameters that you give it. You can run it overnight, but it only does like one test if you're doing deep back tests, sometimes every 10 seconds, 15, 20 seconds if your script is really long. This one will do 1,000 per second, maybe even more. So far faster. You can test millions of different parameter sets. And the other thing is that it's going to splice up the data into training intervals and testing intervals. So it has in sample and out of sample. That's what's really crucial. So the in sample, that's just, the first portion of data, and then the out of sample is what it withholds for later, just for verification. And then obviously the Monte Carlo simulations, that is where the candlesticks are randomized. And if your strategy is able to pass all four of these, the main in sample training, the Monte Carlo in sample, and then there's like the two other ones, the out of sample. If it passes all four of these, then yes, that is statistically validated. That is a really good way to validate your strategy. So you can view the full report for, when your backtest finishes, and And then the good thing is that you can pair this, if you're not a strategy developer and you just kind of want to look at good strategies and know that they are statistically validated, these will pair on the marketplace. So you can head over to the marketplace. These are just some test bots, but the backtest results tab on the marketplace, people sometimes want to see, okay, this is real data that came in from real signals. But if you want to go to the backtesting, there will be the backtest results right here that the creator will publish alongside. So any creator can publish, it's free to publish. And I really just have the Discord community here that, is my heart and soul is poured into this community to keep it as active as possible with good strategies. And, I think the winning method is to actually make it as easy as possible to statistically validate those strategies through stress tests and Monte Carlo simulations, because not a lot of people really know how to do it. There's some really expensive infrastructure out there. And, developing good strategies is really complicated. There's a lot of variables, and then you got to get the parameters just right. And, some of the strategies that I've seen, one parameter or two, you might do pretty well, but a couple parameters off and then you're losing like 10-20%, and you don't know which parameter to pick, right? So that's why you test it through as many different versions of history with as stable results as possible. And that's where the signal swap comes in. And just to visualize what this looks like, this gray area on the chart, this is all the possible price paths that of course there's more but this is just really the band of likely probabilities. So this indicator, let me just remove the drawings on screen right here. This is the high that it's predicting, and then here's the low on the forecast. So that's exactly what Monte Carlo simulations will do. It'll run it through to see, well, if you select, like let's say here's the Wolfpack Elite bot. If you select Wolfpack length 21, you got one result. If you select 22, it might be different result. And as you start refining it, it might be curve fitting, and you never know unless you actually put it the stress test. And that's actually true of every single strategy. So if you have a strategy and you're wondering, okay, this doesn't apply to mine, I promise it applies to yours. It applies to every single strategy out there. So that's the number one recommendation in today's video. So if you guys want to develop your own way to stress test it, on TradingView, for example, you can go over to, where's the download chart button? Here it is. So you can download the chart data, and this is just going to be the actual candlestick. So if I open up the candlesticks, this is the price data. This is the exact data that's on the screen. Here's the candlesticks, and here is the actual open, low, high, close on it. And if you put volume on, you can get the volume or any other metric as well from any other indicator that you have on screen. And these numbers here are what you can do is, yes, you can randomize them since you have the price file. In Python or coding, if you're vibe coding, you can build an engine like that, but it's very complicated to do. There's some pre-done ones, but they're not exactly one-to-one with TradingView, for example. So if you really like using TradingView and you like their math for the calculations, well, like for example here, the 40% profit, calculating exactly how TradingView calculates in Python. It's not always done the same, for example, but that is essentially what you could do. And of course, TradingView does not offer a native Monte Carlo simulation that works rapidly, and so that's where signal swap comes in. It's native in PineScript and uses direct TradingView strategies, plugs in and tests your strategy there. So that is on the backtest tab here. So for example, if I head over to the indicators and strategies here, this is the editors. I could go to the editor's picks, or I could just pick among the most popular ones here. So I really like the chaos weighted RSI by Lux algo. So if I scroll over here, let's see if it's open source. I really like they have divergence here, and it's an oscillator, it looks good. So let's see the source code, and there's 156 lines. So if I hit copy on it, and I notice that it is an indicator, so we have to convert it to a strategy for it to execute trades in TradingView, or for signal swap it has to be strategy as well. And there are free tools like ChatGPT, you can get a free subscription. Gemini 3, you can use a certain amount of free tokens per day. And all you would do is just ask it, hey, quickly, how do I minimally convert this from an indicator to a strategy? So it'll give you the header, it'll give you the strategy rules, and then you just plug that in. So I just asked how to convert this from to a strategy minimally, which lines to add or change, because I don't want it to return, all 150 lines. I just want the lines that need to be replaced. So there it is. It just wants the header to be changed and the strategy logic to be added. That's literally it. It's and it gives me alternative rules for the entry. The crossover logic would just mean that if there is a crossover event, then only on that event would you enter a long now or a short. Now, I don't like these as much. This one uses divergence. But you can customize this as well and play around with it. So let's say that, and looking at these rules here, if we traded on divergence here, it wouldn't be as accurate. So trading on the crossovers, just for example, might be a little bit better. So we would just open up the Pine script here, and Gemini wants us to change the header. So there is the first change, and then down at the very bottom, which is going to be below everything else, we're just going to add our new strategy rules. And once that's done and added to chart, we have our strategy on screen there. Now I'm just going to delete the other one, the indicator version. So now we have the entries and exits exactly when there is a crossover event. So if I take this strategy that I just made, for example, and I just paste it right here into this little box, it's going to run my script as fast as possible. So for example, here is the grid search. So I'm just going to zoom in, and I can click the auto configure button, and that's going to give me 131 permutations. So that's going to be 131,712 different backtests. Now for the inputs, I can up these if I want, or I can lower them. And it tells me here this green number is the total number of possibilities here. So if I do, the minimum is 20 and the maximum is 140, and for every step it'll be 20, so it'll go 20, 40, 60, 80. So in total that's 7, and it takes all of these, multiplies them together to get the total amount of permutation. And also I just choose which exchange I want to use, and working on getting normal stock data in this. Right now I have the crypto exchanges here, but getting interactive brokers as well, which is really popular, will help too. So if you're trading gold or Forex or anything like that, you can still use this tool. And once you hit submit, you'll be able to see it live in action over in the history tab here, where it'll show pending, or it'll show that it concluded and wrapped up, and it'll tell you if it's robust or not. Now, if it's robust, you can go ahead and create a bot with it and start trading right away with it. And then if it's performing well, you can publish it to the marketplace. The marketplace only allows real data, so there's nothing fishy with like faking backtests or anything like that. I've made it as airtight as possible, so you know that if you're going to the marketplace looking at trading bots, that they have real data, that the graph you're looking at is from real data collected live on the website itself. So for example, here's my Pinex test bot. If you have your bot profitable for at least 2 months, it has at least 8 trades in the last 2 months, which isn't a whole lot, but it does need to have a certain amount of activity, and it's been active, then this button will light up and allow you to publish directly to the marketplace. And of course, your backtest results here, if you have your backtest report, this will show up and publish to the marketplace as well. And also this cool interface is just like TradingView as well. You can do all the drawing and position management here as well. So that is a cool feature to have. And remember, this website is currently almost done. We're just alpha testing. We need some alpha testers, some brave traders to step up and who want to try and test the website, see if all the features work. And if you're a tester, I don't know, I'll just give you like a year of free access to like the website. You can use the backtesting. Usually it is a paid feature, but I'll just give, access to you guys, the testers who help make the website what it is. So if you are developing a strategy or want to get it published on the marketplace and contribute, just tag me in the Discord. And of course, for actually setting up a bot, I'm just going to quickly go through this. If any of the alpha testers are here, I'll probably do a full video on this later. But you can just name your bot anything you want. We're just going to do test bot, and we're going to just use the Bybit. This is the testnet exchange, and I'm going to select Bitcoin just for testing. And if I had a backtest result that I wanted to throw in with this permanently to lock it in, I would select it here from this drop down menu. And then from here, it's very simple. You just select the total bought balance that you want, your position size, and here, let me just plug it in really quickly. So if you want total bought balance $1,000, each order is 1,000, and let's say you want percent of equity for compounding. Here's the tooltip. So percent of equity compounds the results rather than just using a flat order size over time. So if the spot goes up to $2,000, it'll be $2,000 order size rather than 1,000. And let's just enable a stop loss. You can use the stop loss or take profit that you have on TradingView already. So if you've already coded stop loss into your strategy, you don't need to use this. But this will close your order mid candle rather than at the end of candle. So that's the difference here. And then if we click next from here, it'll generate us our secure webhook. So this will be what you paste into TradingView. So here is so we'll just hit copy on that, head over to TradingView and select alert. So here's the alert. And of course, we're assuming that all the settings that you like are dialed in here before you click alert. That's crucial because it will use the wrong settings. Otherwise, make sure that the condition is your actual strategy and the interval is the same as chart as well, that you have the backtest results on screen that you actually tuned it for. And then for the message, we have here we go. Here's the webhook URL. Just paste in the webhook URL from SignalSwap right here. And then for the alert message, this is what you copy and paste into the message screen, just like that. And we could just give it a nice little name, test bot. And once that's done, it is, let's see here in the alert, test bot popped up. So we know that we're good. And then to make it go live, just select the confirmation here. And once it's done, we're just going to wait for it to deploy and creating the bot now on the website. And then in 1 second, it'll guide us right back to the dashboard where you're going to be able to see the test bot right there. There it is. So beautiful. Now, I'm going to wrap up the video here, and that's pretty much it. There's a couple things I'm just testing on the website just to make sure it's all good to go. There is as maximum encryption with our encryption team as possible with the API keys, because we're plugging in API keys. You want to make sure that you have minimal permissions. There's no withdrawing permissions on the keys, just trading in specific coins, for example. So 3 commas, for example, a couple years ago got hacked, and the 3 commas hack, and here's the 3 commas hack. What ended up happening was they had a data breach and were not even encrypted or somehow, but when they started trading, they were trading shit coins, and they loaded up on a really bad meme coin and shorted in the opposite direction, and that's how they extracted the money, so they didn't need to withdraw. So it's really important to use 2FA on your accounts. Our website has 2FA as well, so you can go over to the 2FA screen and make sure your security score is maximized just to get the maximum security level. And there's no text verification. Text verification is less secure because people can spoof your cell phone number. So that's why 2FA with like an Authy app or Google Authenticator, usually the best. Make sure you're doing that when the website goes live, of course. Not now because it's not live, but so if you go to the website, there will be a password on the website. Remember, just head over to the Discord and just shoot me a message, and I'll get you set up on the website if you're willing to test. And if you're really willing to deep test, I'll send you like a little list of things that are remaining just to test on the website. So thank you for watching the video, and subscribe and like the video, and I'll be posting frequently, and we're gonna get this website up. We're gonna get trading on it. I'll show you some live trading, and I'll show you some of the backtest results and some of the live results as well from how it's going, because this is the right way to do it, is with using as soon as I got into algo trading, I knew it's advanced statistics. It's not as easy as people make it seem. So hopefully this will make it a little bit easier. So I will see you in the next one. Cheers and take care.